Hi everybody, this is going to be the second time I'm recording this because obviously the first time when I recorded it it didn't work out so well. Anyway, so I'm going to be answering your questions. This is the Q&A video, the pre-recorded Q&A video for the questions of the video 3 Kingdoms that I had made a week ago. For those who don't know about the 3 Kingdoms video, please see the link in the description. So first of all, thank you very much for the questions that have been asked. I will be using your username so that you know that I'm answering your question. All questions create new energy, create new answers, bring us closer to our internal knowledge. So there are no things as stupid questions either. So first one up from Tickety Boo. You asked, how important is dream time and what can we do if we feel our dream time is being sabotaged and manipulated? So dream time is exceptionally important because the dream world requires us to be in our organic, natural, authentic state. And when I say organic, natural, authentic state, I'm referring to the feminine principle of the soul. And in that regard, that is when you're going to receive a lot of information coming from all of the internal celestial information coming from within you into your dreamscape. And I call it a dreamscape, and I also clear my dreamscape before I fall asleep, or go to sleep rather. I don't think we should fall into anything anymore. I think we should rise into sleep or rise into love, but that's my opinion. So dream time, dreamscape, the dream world is exceptionally important, especially if you're looking for answers from within. And it is, as far as it is meant to be, a world that is free from internal interference. That is how it's meant to be. But your second question is about what can we do if we feel our dream time is being sabotaged and manipulated? So how do you feel when you're going into a room where you're coming in with a happy heart, or you're coming into this room filled with people with a sad heart or an angry heart, and before you know it, people around you become angry or sad or happy, depending on what you're bringing into that environment. And the same applies to your dream world. You have to then go into your awake state, and try and clear what is around you and what surrounds you as you're going through your day. It could be subconscious stress or energies that might not be so savory for you to go through. Might be people that you've spoken with before you decided to go to sleep, or it might have been material that you watched perhaps that could open up pathways or doors for external elements to come in through you into your dreamscape. Yes, we are portals, so automatically you would want to have your doorway cleared and clean within your consciousness before you bring it into your dreamscape. Now, if there are elements such as extraterrestrials or interference in that way, or people creating metaphysical occurrences that you might be feeling like you're being attacked, like I know that there are some people that harass me or can harass a person while you're sleeping while they're awake, and they then send their thoughts to you, and those thoughts then come into your consciousness and then manifest itself in your dream. But how do you defend that? How do you clear that? You work in your awake state on a protected state of consciousness, that you are automatically protected, that you have a firewall up to filter any of that nonsense or mystical manipulation or malevolence or extraterrestrial interference, by having it already set up before you enter your sleep state. This is a very important question. It requires a lot more attention. Perhaps I will make another video on this specific subject, as there are a lot of things that we will be going through now more than ever that is busy unearthing. Remember, the previous video I'd made was about everything coming up. It's hemorrhaging. I use that word because it's coming out from previous layers of conscious states that we used to live in. In the same process, where we would, for example, build a new city on an old ruined city before. I know that we are going to be dealing with that particular aspect coming through now, especially that we're dealing with Saturn going into retrograde, has gone into retrograde already. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm looking at everything, and as you know, for those who have been following me for a long time, I use everything that is around and I look at everything as a bigger picture, and in that way we are then able to discern how things are progressing forward. So that was a good question. I hope that's answered part of what you were looking for, which I know was already inside of you, but a good question indeed. So number 2, oneness. You asked, so are we a hybrid race, as I've heard we are? Yes, indeed we are, because we consist out of a plethora of multidimensional genetic and metaphysical genetic energies connecting within ourselves, where we are then bringing all of that. As remember I said in the previous question, we are portals or organic portals, bringing that forward into this world. So every time when there is a portal energy taking place, we are bringing that energy in. So being a hybrid being or hybrid race consists out of that gift and that ability to bring forward what is then manifesting later in this dimension. This is why this dimension, when I refer to this dimension, I refer to the planes of the earth that we are living within, as if it is the sea that we are going through. And this is why I've also referred to this as, yes, we are walking on the waters. The waters are the planes of awareness and understanding, not a literal walking on the water. That'd be amazing if I could see that. Anyway, so I do understand from what you're asking me, it's also a very good question, that we embrace our origins, not just origin of where we come from the stars and from the earth and from the east and the west. We are an amalgamation of all of those elements that make us who we are as whole beings. And once we start to embrace that idea that we are whole, we don't even see ourselves as hybrid anymore. We see ourselves as whole, authentic beings that contribute to the shifting and the changing on this particular plane that we are in, plane or planet that we are living in. And then you asked me another question, which I did answer. I do recall I did, where you asked about the kingdom. So hey, what about the kingdom within us, within, not the outside ones? So yes, I did say this video, the video about the 3 kingdoms, was about the kingdoms from within, and it had to do with the kingdoms as the levels of consciousness that we have within ourselves in the organic human being body. So the mind, the reptilian complex, that is the back of your neck, which often denotes to the past, things from the past, which makes you then become adrenaline conscious and then focused on the fight or flight. And then your emotional center, which is also called the anima, or the animal instinct, which is emotion. It's quite interesting that that these people of science have referred to these particular levels that we have within ourselves, but I can see it coming through in the soul as not as specifically separated. So this is why I'm referring to the fact that we're having to focus everything, all of that crazy stuff going on in your mind, especially what we're going through the pandrama that we're going in, that it all centers from within your heart complex, or the place of creation. Because once you're feeling the energy from within yourself, you're able then to bring that energy out, as if you're a torus field, which I've also explained before in previous videos, that we are ultimately creator beings. So whatever you're thinking, you're feeling. If you're feeling fear, you create fear coming out of your heart. If you're thinking about happy things, positive things, as much as you can about yourself and not about what you're observing, you're able then to calm down things that could make you feel stressed out and jittery, provided you don't have 12,000 cups of coffee a day. You are then able to bring that energy in through your heart energy, which then comes out of you and then connects with everything else around you, from the east to the west. This is also, just for interest's sake, the pearl of wisdom. Just as the same as the dragon has the pearl, or the tiger has the pearl of wisdom, and there is a fight between the dragon and the tiger. This is a mythological story about the pearl of wisdom, where this is the pearl of wisdom, and there is always a fight between the animal instinct as well as the higher spirit instinct, between the two. So bringing all of that within yourself as an awareness of feeling who you are for yourself. This does not mean that you are self-centered or self-involved, or that you are going through solipsis, which means center of the universe and everything revolves around you. You only become self-centered and self-involved when you're caring for yourself at the cost of everything else around you, when there is a cost involved. So be mindful that it's self-love and care. Those are very good questions, Oneness. Thank you for that. And then, Golden Girl, my friend, I've got your question here I'm looking at. Thank you for the energy and the love that you've been sending from where you live. And yes, we are all going through the same thing. We are all touched by the same sunlight, yes. Your question is, my question would be about the sun, Helios, his new baby daughter, the sun simulators, and the grays dimming or blocking the sun through gates of the chem spraying. When will the sky terror end in the new timeline? When will we be free of the imposed new earth trauma karma via the overage still on the planet? Okay, very good question. I shall answer your question in parts, so that we can understand this easier. Now, with regard to the sun, you are asking about, let's see, about the sun, Helios, his new baby daughter, the sun simulators, and the sunlight. Okay. Helios, the one that is here now is not Helios. The one that is here now is Saturn. Saturn was the original planet that was a sun for the Earth, this version of Earth. There are about 4 versions of Earth. Fourth one is in the making as we speak. We are moving from the third Earth to the fourth Earth. Now, this is not literal. This is metaphorical. And with regards to that, I am suggesting to you that keep in mind that we're going into the golden age, and the golden age, we are already in the golden age, excuse me, where everything is alchemized. So Helios, his baby daughter, the sun, Helios has let go of his daughter, the sun, the smaller one, the little one, and she is connected to Saturn, the hierarchy of Saturn energy, Saturn sun. So she also is not just a sun, she is a satellite as well. In that way, there is a unison between the two as they're moving alongside each other, but this is going to be for probably about 100 years or so, from as far as I'm aware, on the astrological information with regard to the sun and the satellite sun. Sun simulators, okay, sun simulators, are you always going to find someone that's going to try and copy something, because have you ever seen anything original that is not being copied? I mean, even the information that I'm speaking to you about right now will probably be taken and copied and used in another video and in another way, because that's just how it happens, because the planes that we are in are multi-dimensional and multi-layered. So there will always be a replication of something in some way, and that is also most probably why the human race is replicating itself constantly to overcome certain things from the past. So yes, by all means, if Helios has now brought forward the daughter, then the daughter will do the same thing as what Helios did. Okay, and then the grays dimming or blocking the sun through the gates, not gonna happen, not happening anymore as far as I'm aware. I have seen that it's not happening anymore. What's happening now is that the focus is mostly here, and for all of these other things that are taking place to block that particular energy to come through, inside here in this plane there is a birthing of energy that is requiring a new solar mate or father to come through to assist the mother or the maternal energy that is on the plane right now. Mother Earth is embracing her mate, which is the new sun. I've seen and heard from various sources that the Greys have definitely been pulling out because of the changes that are happening here. They are particularly very concerned and afraid of contracting the bacterial infection, of the conscious viral infection, of the pandrama that we're going through right now. So there are a lot of these that are just moving out. What is left is most probably a bunch of other ones that are coming through, and when I say other ones and others, I'm talking about extraterrestrial beings and races. Yes, there is also a big thing about a disclosure of extraterrestrial beings, but I'm saying to you, there does not need to be any disclosure. We already know. So that's a little bit behind, but I think there are some who want to see the extraterrestrial beings come in. If you want it, then it'll happen for you. I don't need to see things to know that it already is there. Then again, nothing surprises me. So your next question, that's a good question. We can talk about that particular aspect a little bit more in depth if you'd like. You know where I am. Okay, so you're asking, when will the Sky Terror end in the new timeline? As far as I'm aware, not yet. The only way that it can end is through us. And what we need to work on is to see that everything that is happening outside of us in our observational spheres, we need to draw into ourselves so that we could observe it, transmute it, and then express an alchemized version of that specific thing that you viewed. And by doing that, you counter through your energy and through your internal sun, you counter that influence that it has the effect on you. So we're dealing with response as a versus reaction, and reaction, it requires you to act out your distress and your fear and your worry and your concern about terror coming at you. So alchemize that emotional reaction when you're looking at it to responding to it. What does it make you feel? So I'm using an example here. If I'm looking at something, and I'm going to bring up an example that personally affects me quite badly, is the poaching of animals, particularly lions and elephants, and well, basically all kinds of animals that are being poached, including people. I would like to bring to your attention that what it invokes inside of me is a sense of anger. It makes me so angry I can't help myself. I feel like I am being taken over by this anger. Then I have to stop myself, physically have to hit the brakes and find out why does it make me feel so angry. And then when I look at the anger, what is anger in myself, then I feel that it is to do with helplessness, with feeling like I couldn't do something to help it, or I feel that that thing was helpless when it was poached or hurt or injured. And then I go in even deeper and I analyze, why do I feel helpless? And then it's because I feel like I maybe felt things happening outside of my control. And that is how you resolve that energy and how you alchemize it so that you remove the sting of what it presents to you. And then by doing that, you internally change the external energy of that specific thing happening. You then literally short circuit that energy of that thing, even if it's removing the poachers one by one as you go through it. Then you become much more empowered when you're seeing it for what it is, and you go, okay, I want to get rid of my anger, but I'm going to change it to feeling, okay? This universe, this earth always heals herself over and over, and every hour of every day, every minute of every hour, this universe heals herself constantly. In the same way, we do the same thing, and in that way we understand that which was taken away, that animal which lived, like Cecil the lion, which I have a big deal about, he is present in his spirit form, and he can choose to come back anytime when he wants to. He is not dead, he is not ended, he is existing still, even through the change of that. If we were meant to go off and become like Rambo, gung-ho, and shoot every bastard that has created distress, all you would find is a flat feeling. It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work unless you, even if you had to take away all of those creatures that are influencing their agendas or imposing their agenda on our consciousness, even if you remove them, still be a feeling of not having anything requited, anything that it made you feel that it's helped in any way, because that thing that they've done is still done, has still happened. So you have to rise out of this. It's very, very hard to do that. I am not saying that it's a piece of cake at all. I'm saying it takes literally a lot of effort to try and do that. I still get angry. I still feel like I could just like do something, and it's not going to help, because that's still going to happen. So work on what the terror feel, the trauma karma, and its overage, that conscious thought of that process. Work on what that effect has on you. If you feel that we're going in a state of decline and disempowerment, then you may be feeling like that for yourself. So work on that. This is an open-ended question answer. It requires a lot more attention to this. And then the next question. Thank you for that, Golden Girl. Thank you, Gigi. We'll talk about that. I will bring it up again. Ermina B, you have asked a question, quite an amazing question as well. So you've asked, you said, you're not sure if you understand. You said, I just watched video exposing staged events by news stations. Is it okay to listen to it, to know about it, but I do not need to get angry or sad or transmute my negative feelings into something positive? Yes, correct. You are correct there. You have been doing this all along by looking at everything and then discerning what works. It is good to know what is happening, but you don't have to react to it. Responding to it by seeing that you can transmute that within yourself. Remember that we are all living within ourselves now. We are all individualized, and that makes us feel like we're all isolated in this specific situation. So we're using that energy and we're dealing with it within ourselves. We are the unit, we are a micro version of the macro version, although I'm wondering these days whether we are the macro version of the micro, which happens around us. But that is also another just of my thoughts. And then you're asking me again, I feel like I need to know and let people know about it by posting on social media. Yeah, go for it. Do what you feel helps, but don't become, just be aware how you post it. If you post it with fear, it's going to be taken up with fear. If you post it with anger or emotion or any of those things, that is the frequency that will come through in your post. So just be mindful how you post it. You can share information, yes, just be mindful how you do it. But I know that I have a feeling that you're already aware. So that was a very good question. Thank you, Ermina. Then you're telling me, in the meantime, I do go out and enjoy nature, taking photos and posting them too. Seems like my friends resonate with my photos of nature. I am all mixed up and trying to unite all kingdoms. You don't have to work so hard to unite the kingdoms. Just focus on yourself. Focus on your heart. Focus on what you feel. Focus on when you're looking at this specific thing. When you look at the stone, what does it make you feel when you look at it? How does it feel? And it talks to you. And then connect with the talking of that stone. And then that is the energy that you feel. You can then take a picture of this and that energy will come through in that photo and people will connect with that feeling. So then you asked me another question. You said, can I ask a question that is not related much to your video? I will ask anyway. I am always wondering why in my physical space there is nobody who shares my views. Who would support me? I feel so odd and crazy, and if I did not have opportunity to see on the internet, then I am not alone. I would go nuts. Why was I placed here to do my duty to the world and have nobody who would be sharing my views? Does the power that placed me here have trust in me that I can pull it off alone? I feel so isolated and unsupported. Okay, that's another good question. So I need to explain to you this. Why do you feel you need to do this all by yourself, where you are? It's important that you take note that you are connecting with only what you're doing for yourself within your consciousness. Remember I said previously further up in the questions that to bring care within yourself about something, is to show self-love, and that it is not done in conflict with everything else around you, that is still okay to do that. Where you are in the world, if you look at where we are all in the world, we are all scattered around. So what if I tell you that, what if your country only needs 1 or 2 or 3 people in your vicinity of where you are? What if that's only needed? What if there's only 3 people for the entire India? What if? What if that's just enough? Think about those questions. I'm asking you this question. Think about it. We don't need nations to change things. We are very powerful beings. We are hybrid star beings. The only way we can change things is if we understand just the simple thing. Whatever you think and feel, you project into the world. That's it. Whatever you think, you feel, you project into this world. That's all you need to know. Be careful what you think, and you won't project out what you feel. This does not mean I am negating and saying people who are abused, they wanted to be abused, but they may have had a fear of being abused and then it happened. Or you cannot tell me that the human society of today has somewhere along, and I'm not saying everybody, please understand this very clearly, I'm not saying everyone wanted to feel this, but I can tell you one thing. You can look at the media, you can look at the movies. All the movies that have been made over the last maybe 20 years have all brought in a apocalypse world, an apocalypse world, an apocalypse world, and suddenly when it happened, what's happening? People are like, there are those who said, yes, I knew it was going to happen. We were going to go through an apocalypse. That's it. We're in it now. And then there are those who are like, what the hell happened? How did this happen? I think we're one of those who, we're of the minority, where we were worried that this was going to happen, but we didn't want to entertain it. And now it's happened. And now we're worried about the next thing. And all we want to do is have things come back the way it was, but it's never going to come back the same way it was. What's going to happen now is we're now having to take what we're seeing and experiencing and transmute it. Like I've been saying, the world now is in this chaos because we can make the chaos work for us. And while it's in chaos the way it is, we can bring in energy to make a different timeline, make a different world, manufacture another place to live in, not literally, figuratively, another world, the same place, same environment, but with new energy in it. It is entirely up to you how you want to create your timeline. Remember I said, this is the sandbox, and you bring in all the tools that you would like to have, all the good things. Fill this box with good things you want to have, because while it's in chaos, you have a lot of time and space and presence to bring it in. Because as it is right now, it is allowing us to bring in things we want to bring in. Yes, there are those who are really pushing very hard to get this whole transhumanist thing on the go. Joke. It's already happening. The transhumanist energy has already happened the first day you picked up your cell phone. It started. So this one day it's going to happen, and then suddenly the curtains open and there's an announcement and saying, yeah, we are in the new world order and we are in transhumanist age now. Bullshit has already happened. Nothing happens on a particular day. It's the same as believing that one day we're going to be saved. By whom? you save yourself. So, Ermina, fantastic question. Makes me think a lot deeper than I am on than what is related to your question, but indirectly it is. So I'm leaving this with you guys. I don't want to ramble on too long. Thank you so much. Hopefully next time I will be able to do a live Q&A, live stream thing. But until then, please, for every video that's being made, please feel free, drop the questions in the comment section, or send me a message on my website, www.armedheart.com, if for those who don't know. My contact details are there. And look after yourselves, and much love. Thank you. Bye.